Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to News Dose, and it's been a busy 24 hours for Xbox. I mean, right away, as soon as I woke up this morning, they announced a new Xbox Game Pass game that has been much anticipated for like a decade. Like seriously, this game has been talked about for a very, very long time. But it is finally coming. But really the big story today is the Xbox Developer Direct. That did take place today, and of course we will talk about all of that. We're not just talking about Xbox though, because Nintendo has also had a pretty good day for some of really the exact same reasons, but also a big sequel is rumored to be in development, and I cannot tell you just how ridiculously excited I am if this does indeed turn out to be true. Before we get into the video though, just kind of a little bit of a reminder to hit those buttons below. About 40 to 50% of you all currently are not subscribed, but let's go and change that today. Hit those buttons below, and of course in return I will keep you updated with all of the daily gaming news, and then of course I do have some of those weekend videos as well. Let's just go and get right into things, though, starting off with the Xbox Game Pass game, and actually also a Nintendo Switch Online game being GoldenEye 007. This is a game that's long been in development. It was leaked years ago that Rare had worked on GoldenEye 007 HD for the Xbox 360, but unfortunately, and the story kind of goes, Nintendo blocked it before it made it to the market. It was a very unfortunate situation for fans hoping to see the beloved Nintendo 64 game revived once again. But a lot of things have changed since that canceled version. Now, all of a sudden, Nintendo and Xbox, they're kind of buddy-buddy and everything, but more so in the year of 2023, both can kind of benefit from a GoldenEye re-release. They both have their own subscription service and everything, and that kind of appears to be what's happening here. GoldenEye 007 is now heading over to Nintendo Switch Online January 27th, which includes online multiplayer. With that, I'd say this will automatically become one of the more enticing Switch Online games, as its multiplayer is something that a lot of fans remember very fondly. It was kind of groundbreaking back in the day, and it was just so much fun to play split screen together. Now with Switch Online, though, you won't be limited to one room, but you can do that across the world. At the same time, though, if you prefer its single player, or if you just want to keep it faithful with that local multiplayer, Xbox will be getting an HD re-release that includes 16:9 4K resolution, alternate control options, and of course, Xbox achievements. Now, I do kind of wonder if maybe Xbox and Nintendo worked out some type of deal behind closed doors, and in order to make all of this happen, maybe Nintendo wanted online multiplayer exclusive to them. But at the end of the day, I think depending on what you want from this re-release is going to depend on where you want to play it. I mean, if you're just looking for online play it on Switch Online. But if you want the modern HD visuals and some of the extra features, then play it on Xboxes. It does seem like both of them have their big selling points, just kind of depending on what you're wanting from the release. Regardless, though, I mean, it's about time. This game will finally be out on January 27th, including Xbox Game Pass, and more so if you own Rare Replay, which you should, it's a great collection, but if you do, you can then download GoldenEye HD completely free of charge. Now, we also got Microsoft's Q2 report yesterday, and obviously with this being a massive company and everything, they talked about a lot of different things. But also, of course, this includes Xbox numbers. Now, this was for the holiday period, being the biggest quarter of the year, though Xbox, I'd say, had a little bit of an interesting end to the year, and I think it kind of shows here in the results. We can actually take a look here at Benji Cell's post, which has nicely put all of the needed information into bullet points. Once again, he is an awesome follow on Twitter. I do recommend it. But as you can see here, gaming revenue was down by 13%, Xbox content and services down 12%, Xbox hardware revenue down 13%, first-party and third-party content declined, and then Game Pass subscribers grew. So the one positive takeaway here is that Xbox Game Pass grew. Now, at the same time, they're not exactly being very specific on that, so, you know, we don't really know how much it grew, but Game Pass is still clearly a major part of Xbox's future, so it is nice to see continued growth nonetheless, especially, and here's my main takeaway from all of this. This is all happening during a time when Xbox isn't releasing their big first-party games. With that in mind, I'd say the most eye-popping statistic here is that Xbox hardware is down by 13%. That's not what you want to see this early in a generation, but... And here's the thing, in all honesty, the 2022 holiday period didn't exactly have as many blockbuster hits as we see most years. A lot of games were delayed into 2023, and while this does include big third-party games like Hogwarts Legacy, it also includes Xbox's internal first-party games as well, like Starfield and Redfall. So really the first-party lineup for the holiday was grounded in Pentiment. Now, don't get me wrong, these are both great games and everything, but they're not exactly system sellers in the same way as something like Starfield as an example. So to see a decline in a more quiet holiday where we've seen some major delays, especially when it comes to their first party lineup, yeah, I don't think that this is necessarily particularly overly surprising. However, it's definitely a trend you don't want to see continue going forward. The hope here is that Xbox will release big first-party games this year like Starfield, like Redfall, Forza, and maybe something like Avowed, maybe some surprises along the way, and then just kind of bounce back. Now, before we get into the Xbox showcase, we do have one more topic to go over here, being about a Metroid Dread sequel. And yes, you did hear that right. I know a lot of us are still waiting to hear about Metroid Prime 4, which ironically, today marks the 4-year anniversary for when Nintendo announced its development was restarted with Retro Studios. So I mean, you know, its development has been going on for a while. We are getting to that time when you'd expect to hear more on it. Maybe soon, maybe. However, there's also rumors of a Metroid Prime 1 remake. I'm still hoping that's legitimate. But now, on top of all of that, a new leak is pointing towards a new 2D Metroid game as well. Yeah, I mean, if all of this is actually happening, all of a sudden, us Metroid fans, we are living the dream right now. But this is coming from a Spanish Twitter user by the name of Nash Weedle, which apparently leaked Metroid Dread well ahead of its official announcement, and they did use that as a receipt here. So because of all of that, some are taking this tweet with some credibility behind it, but the tweet translated reads like this. I love recovering old tweets. The truth is that at the time in 2020, I had a lot of data, but the confirmation came a couple months before the game was revealed. What I like the most about this is now when I tell you 2D MS, which I believe stands for Mercury Steam, 2025, and I give you a winking emoji. So yeah, it sounds like they're teasing a 2D Metroid follow-up here, which on one side makes a lot of sense. Metroid Dread was very successful, and by all indication, it's gone on to be the best-selling entry for the entire franchise. I mean, fans, they really put their money where their mouth is here. They showed Nintendo that they want these type of games, so why not? Let's just go ahead and make another. I don't think that these games are overly expensive to make, and Mercury Steam, they have proven that they can make quality 2D Metroid games, which can further fill out Nintendo's library. I mean, as an example, they remade Metroid Dread 2 in the 3DS, which sits among the better 3DS games, and then on top of that, I mean, Metroid Dread, this is a brand new title this time around, and it was absolutely phenomenal. In my opinion, easily one of the best Nintendo Switch games. So yeah, I feel like by this point, you can kind of trust them with the 2D Metroid games going forward. If anything, though, I mean, with Metroid Dread being a success and with Metroid Prime 4 looming, Nintendo can further capitalize in growing this IP even further. Now, with all that said, at the end of the day, this is still just a rumor. Nothing is confirmed just yet, but man, I really, really hope this one is true. We need more Metroid. Let's not wait like another decade plus. Let's get these coming, and not just in 3D, but both 2D and 3D. Still, until confirmed, I would take this leak with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, fingers crossed on this one. All right, so yeah, let's go and get into the Xbox Developer Direct, where they revealed some new information, some new gameplay, and also some release dates for 5 of their internal first-party games. Now, there was also a surprise here as well. We'll get into that here in just a second. But before we jump into anything, I just want to go ahead and applaud Xbox here. A lot of fans have requested Xbox to do digital showcases like Nintendo and like PlayStation, and Xbox, they've tried to do this in the past with, in my opinion, not much success. But after today, I feel like that they finally figured it out. This was a very well put together showcase. It had great pacing, it had a lot of information, and tons of gameplay. I think that this showcase really was even better than what I had expected, partially because expectations were set properly. They didn't overhype this event or anything. And all things considered, they actually undersold it because it did have a very, very nice surprise. Again, we'll get into that just in a second. Now, we will do letter grades here in just a bit, but yeah, I'm giving this showcase a solid A. I think that this might be the first showcase that I've given an A in quite some time. So yeah, just kudos to Xbox here. As for the games, though, they opened the showcase with Minecraft Legends. We finally got a deep dive into this game, and it seems like it has a lot more depth than what I might have originally realized. But this is Mojang experimenting with the Minecraft franchise yet again. They did this previously with Minecraft Dungeons, being a dungeon crawling RPG similar to something like Diablo, which that actually did turn out to be a good game, especially for co-op. Definitely go check that out if you haven't already. And I think that we're kind of seeing something similar here with Minecraft Legends. This time they partnered up with Blackbird Interactive to develop a strategy game, and it seems like one of their big focal points is PvP multiplayer. Minecraft Legends does include crossplay, so it doesn't really matter what platform you buy this one on, but there's a lot of strategies in how you set up, protect, and attack your opponent's base, all while using the Minecraft lore and items that fans know and love so much. I think what I kind of took away from this gameplay reveal, though, is that kind of like Minecraft Dungeons, you don't really have to be a Minecraft fan to enjoy this game. I think it's going to be a game that everybody can just kind of jump into and enjoy. It might have an easy to jump into system compared to other games within the genre, though that can actually be a good thing here, as it can introduce players to the genre that might not have played it otherwise until now, and as long as it's fun, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. On top of that, though, again, it still seems to have depth at the same time, and the even better news here is that they did confirm a release date. It will be out on April 18th, including an Xbox Game Pass launch. Next up here, though, they talked about Forza Motorsports, which just continues to look absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they keep saying that this is a generational leap and everything, and by all indications, that is clearly very much true. They do claim that Forza 8 has more advancements than Forza 5, Forza 6, and Forza 7 combined. So, when all said and done, this really could end up being the racing game of the generation thus far, based on some of the things that they've shown. Nonetheless, though, they did confirm that it will launch with 500 cars, 100 of which are completely new to the series. It will have 800 unique upgrades, and it will have 20 different environments. They also confirmed that it will be 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, and it will have live ray tracing as well, which means while you're racing and not in just replays or something like that. However, and this is probably the only disappointing part about this showcase, but they're still not completely ready to confirm a release date for Forza Motorsport. It is still sitting on that loose 2023 release window, which means that it might miss that initial first half of 2023 release target. Maybe a little bit disappointing there, but it does look like the wait will be well worth it. On to the big surprise here, though, because Bill Kuhn was correct. Tango Gameworks did, in fact, announce their game here being Hi-Fi Rush, and wow, this game far, far exceeded my expectations. This was the game of the show for me. Now, we have talked about this game a few times before because information on it did leak prior. It was previously described as a rhythm brawler with a jet set radio-like art style, which, as you can see, was correct, but it was also being described as a smaller scope game. So I caution to just kind of temper expectations for this one, but here you can see this game, it actually looks amazing. I mean, I love the art style. I know it's being compared to Jet Set Radio, and I can see why. It does have that cel-shaded art style to it and everything. But in terms of its color palette, it also kind of reminds me a lot of Sunset Overdrive with just how colorful it is. The way this game works, though, is that it's an action rhythm game where you fight to the beat. The main protagonist is like some failed experiment or something like that, and he can hear rhythms across the world. And that's not just incorporated into its combat, but with everything, including its environment. That's when I really just truly became sold on this game. Yes, it's an action brawler, but it also appears to have platforming, there's exploration, there's boss encounters and all of that, and I just think that this game looks flat out amazing. And here's the cool part. You don't just have to hear me talk about it, because they shadow launched this game today. Yes, it's out right now, and if you have Xbox Game Pass, you can play it tonight. I'm telling you, I'm very much going to do that ASAP. I was not expecting this game to look this good, but yeah, I'm jumping into Hi-Fi Rush right away. Now, they did also talk about the Elder Scrolls Online and its next chapter being Necron. This chapter will introduce a new class, reimagine locations, and multiple ancient mysteries to unravel. This will all be out on June 20th, so if you like the Elder Scrolls Online, definitely look forward to all of that. However, if you haven't jumped into the series yet, as a little bit of an added bonus here, for a limited time, all past chapters and over 20 DLC will be free to play. So if anything, now it does kind of seem like the time to jump in to the Elder Scrolls Online. Lastly, though, they once again revealed some more gameplay on Redfall, and I think this time around they did a pretty good job of showing how its single player works. A lot of fans have been curious about that. Some people thought it might have just been strictly a cooperative game, but this time they did show some single player exploration, and you know what? After seeing it today, you know what it kind of reminds me of? State of Decay with arcane-like gameplay. Now, I don't know if that's a good comparison. I don't know if everybody's going to agree with me, but the reason I say that is because you have home bases, you can explore, hunt vampires and things like that, there's a loot-based system, and then you do have an open world, but it's not necessarily massive, but more condensed with a lot of things to explore. In that sense, it does kind of remind me a little bit of State of Decay. At the same time, though, Redfall does have that arcane style to it where it gives players a lot of creative freedom, the first-person gameplay with RPG mechanics that their fans just love so much, and unique character abilities in this case. Really, I think that this game, I think it looks good, especially with how much you can do in this game. There's story missions, there's home bases, lots of enemy variants, including vampire god bosses, lots of weapon customization, you can invade vampire nest, and it just seems like there's a lot of things that you can do in this game. Honestly, pretty much like all of Arkane's games before, whether that be Dishonored, Prey, or with Deathloop, I fully do expect this game to be just pure fun with an amazing, amazing level design. Again, though, the good news here is that they confirmed its release date is set for May 2nd. So there you go. That was the full showcase, and I feel like we're getting a pretty good sense of how Xbox's lineup looks for the first half of the year, even without Forza's official release date yet. And like I said before, I just thought that this was a great showcase. Now, with all that said, I wanted to also hear your all's opinions, so for the poll of the day, I asked you all, what letter grade would you give the Xbox Developer Direct 1.25.2023? And as you can see here, most of you all very much did enjoy the showcase, with 18% of you giving it an A, 49% being the majority gave it a B, 20% gave it a C, 6% gave it a D, and then 8% of you gave it an F. So that means 67% of you all gave it an A or B, which is very, very good. Yeah, it does look like most of you will very much enjoy this showcase. And like I said before, I mean, Xbox has been trying to do this for such a long time. They've attempted to do these digital showcases. They've not succeeded before, and that's largely because of their format before was not very good. In this case, though, I thought the format was absolutely fantastic, and I think after seeing this showcase, for me, I definitely think Xbox needs to do more showcases like this in the future. This needs to be a reoccurring thing for them. Just like PlayStation State of Play and Nintendo Direct, Xbox Developer Direct needs to be a thing going forward. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. But if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.